What is happening, sixth graders? Happy Friday! You made it through week 8. Proud of you. We're getting there. You've been doing awesome. Really, sixth graders. You're rocking. Keep it up. Today we're going to talk about some other rock stars from ancient Greece. This time in the fields of math and science. And we're going to analyze some of their advances. So let's get into it. Let's do math first. The Greeks really invented so much that we do in modern day math still today. They were the first to develop the process and the equations of, most notably dealing with geometry. Pythagoras is one of the most famous mathematicians of all time. He really kind of changed the whole perception of mathematics in the Western world. He was a philosopher and a mathematician, and he believed that numbers revealed all of the logic of the universe. That if you studied numbers, you could figure out the root of everything. Like everything. Like numbers were behind anything and everything. In fact, he is the first person known that applied numbers to music. Think if any of you play an instrument or sing in a in a choral group or something like that, and you read music, it is all set to counts and numbers. When you're looking at a song, you're actually looking at a math problem. Pretty crazy, huh? And he was the one that kind of developed that. It wasn't just let's make these sounds and jam out. Like setting notes to numbers. It's pretty cool. Not only that, the Pythagorean theorem, a squared plus b squared equals c squared, which is one of the most fundamental important building blocks in geometry. It is how you figure out the measurement of a right angle. Once you figure out that, you can then figure out the measurement of everything from your flat screen TV to the sides of a skyscraper. And that theorem is still used today. So you're learning it in your math classes, not just, for a test. It actually has a lot of practical applications. Speaking of geometry, that guy down the bottom, Euclid, also another big mathematician. Just got to give him a shout out. He really is the one who developed plane geometry, not plane like it's ordinary, but looking at planes. And measurements, and he wrote a book called The Elements, which is still studied by mathematicians today. So yay, Greek mathematicians. Another big inventor or innovator of ancient Greece is Archimedes. I like Archimedes. He is quite the interesting dude. He really is one of the great engineering minds, great scientific minds, great inventing minds of all time. He is a true out-of-the-box thinker. He was constantly thinking, inventing, and working on building solutions to problems. One of the famed stories about him is that one of the kings of ancient Greece asked him to figure out how to carry this large weight, and he's thinking and thinking and thinking on it, and then he's in the bathtub, soaking, thinking, and he notices that when he goes in the water goes up, and when he gets out, the water goes down, and that if you add weight to water, the water moves up, and he figures out the whole idea of water displacement, and that can be used to move heavy things that you can put in the water. Wow. Very cool. And the story is once he figured it out, he was so excited, he stood up and he screamed, "Eureka!" Which I think I misspelled. Oops. Yay, there you go. He spelled Eureka and yelled it and spelled it correctly because he was smart. Not like me who just did it as a mistake. And ran out of the house, ran into the street, yelling, "I figured it out, Eureka!" And everyone looked at him, and because he just got out of the bathtub, and they're like, "Yeah, Eureka! Get back in the tub, man. You smell." Boom. A lot of work to get to that. Anyway, he figured out a water screw that could carry water uphill. He developed a compound pulley seen here, which is still used in many different devices today to lift heavy things with little effort. He said, I can move the earth if given the right place to stand. With his pulley, it can lift anything with a minimal effort. One of the things I really find fascinating about him is that he was also a weapons inventor. And he was a Tony Stark of ancient Greece. And he invented all sorts of crazy weapons of war. Later on in his life, he moved to Syracuse, a city in Sicily, and it was being invaded by the Romans during the Punic Wars. In order to help defend the city that he had moved to, he came up with all these crazy ways of attacking the Romans. He developed a catapult that could throw 700-pound rocks at ships, a claw that could grab ships while at sea and tip them over or pull them into the rocks. He even invented a death ray. A death ray in ancient Greece. Like, a death ray. That's crazy. By using mirrors, he would get beams of light from the sun using a series of mirrors and then beam them at ships and light them on fire. So here's some cool illustrations just to kind of show. Here's the water screw carrying the water uphill by cranking it. Pretty neat. Here you see the Archimedes claw lifting the ship out of the water. Oh man, what are we going to do? Game over, dude. And here we see the Archimedes death ray. Sun, mirror. Not fun. Last guy we got to give a shout out to is Hippocrates. Hippocrates is often remembered as the father of medicine. He was the first to take a scientific approach to treating the ill, not just saying, oh, it's the gods, we got to make a sacrifice to them. And no, he tried to, all right, this plant works with this illness. Eating this food helps with this illness. And he tried to find more and more different ways of treating the sick using science, which is what doctors do. Doctors are scientists. Wow. He also developed an oath that doctors would take to act in an ethical way and always look out for their patients' best needs. One of the most famous quotes that is, make a habit of two things: to help, or to at least to do no harm. To do no harm. That always comes up. Doctors today still take the Hippocratic Oath that was developed by the father of medicine, Hippocrates, during the golden age of ancient Greece. So I'd like you to pick out one of the figures we talked about and write a short description of their accomplishments. Pythagoras, Archimedes, or Hippocrates. Fun. Look, I made myself gold. Have a great one, everyone. Have a great weekend. Yes. Bye-bye.